had a gut feeling my wife was planning to divorce me, so before she could make her move, I made mine. I quietly moved every asset I owned out of her reach. 2 weeks later, she filed, and the look on her face when her plan backfired was something I'll never forget. Welcome to Raw Reddit Tales. Subscribe to keep getting the spiciest stories. Vanessa and I had been married for 16 years, and I thought we had the kind of love that could outlast anything. She was beautiful, sharp-tongued, and always knew how to light up a room. But lately, her glow wasn't for me. I'd come home to cold dinners and colder conversations. My texts went unanswered. Her phone was always flipped screen down, and her laugh, that warm, familiar sound, started showing up in other people's Instagram stories. I wasn't stupid. I knew what I was seeing. But instead of confronting her, I decided to watch. It started with a hunch and ended with a discovery that shattered me. My daughter, Lila, 15, brilliant and way too observant, came into my office one night holding my laptop. "Dad, I think you should see this," she said. She'd installed monitoring software on her mom's devices because she'd noticed the same thing I did. The secrets, the late nights, the fake smiles. Inside a folder marked Important was a nightmare. Messages, photos, and receipts. Vanessa had been seeing Derek Hughes, a slick real estate developer who'd been to our house more times than I could count. The texts weren't just romantic, they were strategic. She was planning her exit like a business deal. "Once I get the trust money transferred," one message read, "we'll be free." My heart dropped. She wasn't just betraying me, she was stealing from our daughter. Thousands of dollars gone, luxury bags, jewelry, weekend trips to Miami. It was all there. Every piece of evidence spelled betrayal in bold letters. I didn't rage. I didn't throw things. I simply backed up every file, called my lawyer friend Ryan Blake, and made sure every dollar tied to my name was moved. When Vanessa finally filed for divorce, she expected to walk away rich. Instead, she walked into her own trap. When Vanessa realized what I'd done, the mask fell. She stormed into my office, waving the divorce papers like a flag of war. "You can't just move the assets, Ethan. That's marital property." Her voice cracked, not out of heartbreak, but out of panic. I leaned back in my chair, watching her unravel. "You mean my property?" I said quietly. "The same one you were planning to use to fund your new life with Derek Hughes?" Her lips parted, and for a second, I saw it. The fear. She wasn't prepared for this version of me. The thing about betrayal is that it rewires you. The moment I saw those messages, something inside me broke, but in the cracks, something cold and precise was born. I told her to leave the house within 24 hours. No shouting, no begging, no second chances. I wanted her gone. Lila watched from the staircase, eyes red but dry. "Don't worry, Dad," she whispered later. "I took care of everything." I didn't know what she meant, but I was too exhausted to ask. By the next morning, the storm had already started online. Screenshots of Vanessa and Derek's texts had hit social media, posted by an anonymous account. The captions were brutal. Architect's wife caught siphoning her daughter's trust fund for her boyfriend's vacations. Every message was tagged to Vanessa's friends, her favorite boutiques, even Derek's business page. The internet did what it does best. It devoured her. Vanessa called me, voice trembling. "Ethan, please, make it stop. I'm being humiliated." I hung up. I wasn't playing savior anymore. Meanwhile, Lila came home from school with a calmness that scared me. "They deserve it," she said. "People like her don't learn unless they lose everything." That's when I realized my 15-year-old daughter had just outplayed 2 adults who thought they were untouchable. Derek's empire began to crack almost immediately. His investors started pulling out, whispering about bad press and financial improprieties. Vanessa's friends ghosted her overnight, boutiques blocked her credit, and her social circle turned to dust. It was poetic, almost cinematic. But I knew this was just the beginning, because humiliation was only phase 1. Phase 2, destruction, was already in motion. And the moment I called Ryan Blake, my closest friend and one of the sharpest attorneys in the city, he didn't ask questions. He just said, "I'll have my investigator reach out." That investigator was Simon Grant, a man with a reputation for turning secrets into weapons. I handed him everything: the screenshots, the money transfers, the timeline of Vanessa's spending. Within days, Simon had a dossier thicker than a court file. It wasn't just infidelity, it was theft, fraud, and collusion. Vanessa and Derek had crossed lines that could bury them both. While they scrambled to fix their public image, I went quiet. Silence unnerved them more than confrontation ever could. Vanessa tried to call me again, this time from a private number. "Ethan, let's talk." "We can fix this," she pleaded. I almost laughed. "You mean before or after you finish draining your daughter's account?" I asked. She went silent. I could hear her breath shaking through the phone. That's when I told her, "You've only seen the beginning, Vanessa. I'm not powerless. I'm patient." Lila, on the other hand, was thriving in chaos. She'd taken to watching Derek's company unravel like it was a personal project. "He's deleting comments now," she said one evening, scrolling through her phone. "But people keep reposting. It's everywhere." My daughter had turned into a silent avenger, precise, ruthless, and oddly composed. I was proud and terrified at the same time. By week 3, Simon found what we were looking for: multiple violations buried in Derek's real estate projects, safety issues, unlicensed contractors, and falsified permits. We sent anonymous tips to every relevant regulatory body. Within 48 hours, inspections started, projects froze, and whispers of criminal investigations spread like wildfire. Derek's name became toxic. Vanessa's world crumbled faster than I expected. Her social club suspended her membership. Her favorite boutique refused her entry. Her so-called friends started leaking her private messages, exposing how she bragged about upgrading from an architect to a developer. It was brutal, the kind of fall that doesn't end in tears, but in silence. One night, as I watched her social media accounts vanish one by one, Lila sat beside me. "Do you think it's enough?" she asked. I looked at her, my calm, calculating daughter, and said, "Not yet. They haven't learned what real loss feels like." By the time week 4 rolled around, Derek's company was in freefall. The media caught scent of the scandal. Real estate mogul under investigation for fraud and corruption. Every news headline was a dagger, and every reporter that called his office drove it deeper. I watched it unfold from the quiet of my home, coffee in hand, feeling an unfamiliar calm. This wasn't rage anymore. It was justice, meticulously served. Vanessa, on the other hand, was spiraling. She started showing up at my gate at odd hours, makeup smudged, voice cracking from desperation. "Ethan, please let me explain," she cried one night as the rain poured over her. I stood there, unmoved. "You had 16 years to explain," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Now all you'll do is watch." She broke down right there, screaming at the sky like the world had betrayed her. But deep down, she knew. She did this to herself. Meanwhile, Lila had become my greatest ally. She wasn't just watching anymore. She was acting. "Dad," she said one night, "Mom's friend Chloe Hartman has been feeding Derek updates about you." I froze. Chloe had been Vanessa's closest friend, a woman who'd smiled at my table and toasted to our anniversaries. Lila had traced encrypted messages between Chloe and Derek, filled with gossip, leaks, and strategies to twist public sympathy. That discovery lit another fire. Simon dug into Chloe's background, uncovering fake charities, hush money transactions, and her involvement in helping Vanessa funnel money through dummy accounts. I gave Ryan the green light to initiate legal proceedings. Quiet, subtle, and devastating. Within a week, Chloe's luxury wellness brand was exposed as a front for laundering money. Her sponsors pulled out, her social media vanished, and she became the next casualty of their empire's collapse. But I wasn't done. I invited independent auditors to review my firm's finances. Complete transparency. It made headlines. Architect opens books amid scandal, emerges clean. Clients flooded in, investors doubled down. The same journalists who tore Derek apart were now calling me a man of integrity. The irony was delicious. That night, Vanessa called again. Her voice was hollow. "You've taken everything from me," she said. I paused, letting her words hang. "No," I replied. "You handed it to me when you chose betrayal over family." Then I hung up, not in anger, but in closure. Vanessa had always believed she was entitled to everything that bore my name. From the moment we married, she acted less like a partner and more like a shareholder in my life. When I built my architecture firm from scratch, she said, "We did it." When I bought our home, she called it our asset. But when things crumbled, that sense of unity vanished. Suddenly, my achievements became her leverage. She'd always believed my success was something she could cash out of when she was done pretending. Now that she was cut off, her entitlement turned to fury. She started sending long, manipulative texts, claiming I'd ruined her life and that I owed her for the years she stayed home. "I gave you my best years, Ethan," she wrote. "The least you can do is let me keep the lifestyle I'm used to." I laughed bitterly. "You mean the lifestyle you paid for with your daughter's trust fund?" I typed back, but never sent it. I was past the stage of arguing with someone who believed luxury was love and money was loyalty. Vanessa's pride wouldn't let her disappear quietly. She tried to sell her story to a few gossip blogs, painting herself as the abandoned wife of a cold, vengeful husband. But before they could publish anything, Ryan and Simon moved fast. They released the audio recordings of her bragging about stealing from Lila's account to impress Derek. The internet turned on her instantly. Every lie she'd spun came undone in public. Her name trended for all the wrong reasons. The trust fund thief wife. The humiliation should have been enough, but entitlement runs deep. Vanessa still showed up in public, forcing smiles, pretending she was fine. She even tried to pitch herself as a life coach for women starting over. The audacity almost made me laugh. The same woman who destroyed her family now wanted to inspire others? But karma has its own rhythm. Her events got canceled, sponsors pulled out, and her so-called empowerment brand was exposed as another attempt to scam sympathizers out of money. At home, Leela watched every headline with quiet satisfaction. "She still doesn't get it," she said softly one night. "She thinks she's the victim." I nodded, staring out the window. "People like your mother don't see the line between privilege and greed," I said, "until everything they think they deserve disappears." 6 months later, peace didn't come suddenly. It crept in, slow and unfamiliar. The house was quieter now, but not empty. It felt healed. Lila had changed the most. There was a sharpness in her confidence, a maturity that came from watching betrayal up close. She stopped asking about her mother. She didn't need to. Every headline, every whisper, every reminder of Vanessa's downfall was already proof enough. Vanessa had burned through every lifeline she once took for granted. Her social accounts were gone, her name blacklisted in the same circles she used to brag about belonging to. The boutiques that once fought for her attention now pretended she didn't exist. Her so-called friends had all turned into spectators, gossiping about how the queen of entitlement had finally fallen off her throne. Even Derek, her supposed partner in paradise, was gone. He'd been arrested while trying to flee the country with fake documents, his empire dismantled piece by piece. Every crooked deal Simon uncovered led right back to him. I didn't feel triumphant, just finished. The revenge had been methodical, But the cost of it all lingered in the silence between Lila and me. One night, while reviewing blueprints for a new project, she came to my office and placed an envelope on the desk. Inside was her college acceptance letter, full scholarship. "I did it, Dad," she said with a small smile. "We did it." For the first time in months, I actually smiled back. The same daughter whose childhood had been tainted by deceit was now building her own future, clean and unbroken. I used part of the settlement Vanessa forfeited to start a foundation, one that supported children from broken homes. It was Lila's idea. "If we could survive it," she said, "maybe we can help others survive it too." And somehow, that became the real redemption in all of this. As for Vanessa, I heard she's living in a small apartment downtown, working part-time at a salon she once looked down on. The woman who once demanded everything now struggled to keep anything. That's the irony of greed. You only realize how small your world is once everything you thought you owned disappears. Betrayal taught me something no degree ever could. Loyalty isn't a gift, it's a choice. And when someone breaks it, you don't just walk away, you rebuild stronger. The end. Please like and subscribe for more interesting stories like this. What do you think of this story? Please comment below.